Hello everyone, welcome to today's class of Certified Ethical Hacking by OneBet Labs. I hope everyone is able to hear me and able to see the screen. So, as we have discussed in the last session on Friday about the important terms, I hope no one is having any confusions from that. So, first we'll start with any doubts if you have from the last session. Anyone? Okay. So, as the okay, one more time, let me know what topic we covered in the last class. Anyone? What topic we discussed in the last session on Friday? Module 3, scanning. No, yesterday there was no class. Okay. So, as we discussed the scanning in the last session, have you discussed, is there was any class on important terms like that? Anyone? Okay, so I think there will be one more session before we start vulnerability analysis, which will be important terms. Important terms will be a session in which we will be discussing about more than 30 terms. Those terms we will be using in every class. So you must not face any issue in understanding those terms explanation. We will be having a separate session for that. In that session, I will explain you about the terms meaning, what is the use of those things, and what is the concept behind that particular term. Okay, so that will be that we will be have doing in the some other class which will be tomorrow, I guess. So today we will be going with the enumeration. I think enumeration we have not started yet, correct everyone? Enumeration. Okay, so enumeration we will be starting. So as if you remember, in the introduction class we discussed there are total four phases of ethical hacking or hacking. One is footprinting and reconnaissance, then is scanning, then gaining access, then maintaining access. Okay, let me disable the chat. So as in the intro of the ethical hacking class, if you remember, we discussed about total four processes or four phases in ethical hacking, which was footprinting, scanning, gaining access, maintaining access. Now, footprinting, scanning, and enumeration, these three things comes under the first phase, first and second phase, which means gathering information. After completing these things, we will be moving to vulnerability analysis. Now, vulnerability analysis, in that module, we will be using whatever the things, whatever the information we gained from these three modules: footprinting, reconnaissance, scanning, and this thing, enumeration. So, whatever we learned from these three modules, we'll implement in vulnerability analysis. And after that, whatever topics we'll be going to study, because we cannot directly go and start the process of finding out vulnerabilities. For that, we need to gather some information about the target, what type of target it is, if it is having some basic information or not, if we are not doing anything wrong, like that, by going through the privacies, whatever the scanning results we gathered, what are the enumerated results we gathered, what are the footprinting results we gathered. Clear? Now, today we will be starting with enumeration. First of all, let me open the PDF. So, enumeration is the fourth module which we'll be going to study today. So, unlike other modules, this module will not be having 250 or 300 pages. It will be only having 63 pages because it's not that much of big topic. Whatever the topic was there in regarding the information gathering, it was footprinting and scanning. So we completed that. Now, in all these three modules, each and every tool will be common. Nmap is also used in footprinting. Nmap is also used in scanning. It will be also used in enumeration. Okay. Just like that, we will be having the practicals for these three modules one more time. Okay. So in enumeration, let us start the topic here. So in enumeration, what things we'll be discussing, we will be having practical tomorrow, in which we will be doing each and every practical of the tools in enumeration, which is not that much. There are only two tools we'll be having practicals in enumeration, and one Nmap, which was used, which we'll be using in Kali Linux. And if you remember, HPing2 and HPing3 from the scanning module, we will be doing practical. HPing2, HPing3 is used for various purposes, such as sending huge amount of traffic for DOS attacks, or flooding the traffic, or scanning the traffic, scanning the ports, like that. So HPing is used for many purposes. So for the scanning module, we will be doing practical in Nmap, Kali Linux, and HPing2, HPing3. And in enumeration, we will be doing practical using WP Scan, which is a tool for enumeration, Nikto, which is a tool for enumeration. These two tools will be having practicals. Now, first, let us understand about the concept of enumeration. What is enumeration, first of all? Enumeration is a way to fetch results in a proper, you can say, organized manner. Enumeration is counting of a data. Counting a data will be known as enumeration. Suppose if I ask you to enumerate numbers from 1 to 10, enumerate numbers from 1 to 10, what you will be doing is you will be counting, okay, from 1 to 10 there are 10 numbers, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. These results we got. So these results we didn't scan for, these results we enumerated. So enumerating some data we will be getting in a well organized manner. Okay, so one example is there, enumerate numbers from 1 to 10. Other example, enumerate usernames of this website. This is abc.com. Enumerate usernames of this website. Now, whatever the tool or the technique we will be using, it will be enumerating all the usernames, and it will let us know in a manner like this. Total enumerated usernames found 20. Username 1, this. Username 2, this. Username 3, this. Username 20, this. Like that. So this is enumeration. Now, how it is different from footprinting and scanning? In scanning and footprinting, we receive the data which is not in organized manner. Okay, it's mix of everything, mix of port numbers, mix of everything. So we are not able to define or categorize each and everything. We need to do it manually. But in enumeration, it's happens in a different way. Clear to everyone? Now, in enumeration, what type of details an intruder can get or an attacker can get? So, if you see here carefully, first let us read the definition. In enumeration, it is a phase where attacker creates active connection with the system and performs directed queries to gain more information about the target. So the process is same, the concept is same, just like scanning and footprinting, but the way of getting the results are different. Okay, everything is same, the only difference is the way of getting the results. Okay, now these are the things which we may get after doing the enumeration. We can get network resources, we can get network shares, we can get routing tables, audit and service settings, SNMP, FQDN details, machine names, user and groups, application and banners. I will explain this later on. So these type of informations we can get using enumeration. Enumeration is limited to specific services. Okay, in scanning, you just need to give an IP address of the target. That's all. It will be looking for whatever information it's possible to gather. But in enumeration, it's not like that. Enumeration will be targeting specific services. Suppose if you want to gather network resources, it will be targeting the network resources details. Network shares, it will be only targeting network shares. Machine names, it will be only looking for machine names. Users and groups, it will be only looking for users and groups and will be enumerating. Okay, looking for a single data is not possible in enumeration. Enumeration is only used for counting some data, gathering the data and counting it and organizing it in well organized manner, like that. So proceeding further, Now, these are the 6 techniques of enumeration which you need to remember. As I told you, enumeration is not possible however you want. These are the 6 techniques for enumeration generally. First one, extract username using email IDs. Many of the websites or application nowadays, every user use their email ID as their username. So if you're having email list containing a lot of email IDs of different users, you may guess that okay, these email IDs means it must be some users username. Like on Facebook, email IDs are also there as a username. Gmail, generally it's the username. So like that, we can extract username using email IDs. So this is the first technique of enumeration. Second, extracting information using default passwords. Well, if you uh, know, whenever you install some machine or some system or some software, by default it contains default passwords. Let me give you an example. If you try to install a Wi-Fi connection, internet connection or broadband connection in your home or in your office, and the provider is giving you a router, the router will be having a default username and default password, like admin password or blank blank. So many of the users don't change, do not change the password. And what happens if someone sniffs into the network or someone scans the network, and if he is able to find out and connect to the network, now he can easily log into the gateway of the router by using the default password. Now, if you search over the internet, you can search with the model name of the router, like TP-Link 5680 default password. Over the internet, the default passwords are available for free. So, extracting information using default passwords. Brute force active dictionary. Now, what is brute force? Brute force attack is a type of attack where it uses a big dictionary where thousands and crores of words and combination of words are there. So the brute force is a type of attack where it tries each and every combination of the word and tries to find out the perfect matching data. Either it can be username or password. So it will try until it gets a successful data. So the server, whenever we enter wrong password, the server will give us an error wrong. So the software tries to give each and every combination of word, whatever it's possible, and unless the server is giving a success message, it tries each and every combination. So it may take 1 hour, 2 hour, 1 day, 2 day, 1 month, 2 month, 1 year, 2 year. It depends on the format of the password. Some users use plain password. So in that case, it will take less amount of time. Some users use alphanumeric, A, K, J, capital 1, capital 2, like that. So it takes a huge amount of time. Some users use only numeric number, like phone numbers. So it will take less amount of time. So like that. Fourth one is DNS zone transfer, domain name systems. So a lot of information is also there in DNS. Then extracting user groups from Windows. If you scan or if you enumerate a Windows operating system, you can also get user groups. So many of you must know in Windows operating system you can create multiple accounts. Okay, so you can also enumerate user groups if you enumerate Windows. Extract username using SNMP. SNMP is a simple network management protocol. A lot of organizations, a lot of networks use SNMP protocol for managing their server. Like for FTP, they use FTP protocol. Okay, and for different services, they use different protocols. So if a network is very huge, it is not possible to manage with a human. By the help of human, it's not possible. So we use SNMP protocol. Now, SNMP protocol is meant and configured to look over the network and to control it and to analyze it or uh, keep track of whatever information is going from the network and coming to the network. Now, if SNMP is handling all these stuff, which means it contains every information. Suppose I'm connected with the organization's network and the organization is using SNMP protocol. Now, if I type my username and trying to log in into the website, the information, whatever I'm entering, inputting, will be passed by the SNMP protocol. Now, suppose if SNMP is having this much of details, what if we enumerate the SNMP itself? Well, whatever the information it contains we will get all those information. So these six techniques are there for enumeration. Okay. Now, if you remember, in the third module, I told you to go through page number 27, 28, 29, where port numbers and the services regarding those port numbers were mentioned. Okay. So, why it's necessary? Look at here. We can only perform enumeration to specific ports and specific services. As I told you, enumeration is not possible to do anywhere we want, or in any services we want. No, it's not possible like that. These are the specific services and ports over which we can perform enumeration, because we will be only able to find out these informations. Not on every port or every services we can perform enumeration. There's a limitation of that. So port number 53, if you've gone through the model number 3, all those pages which I told you about to go through the port numbers and services, port 53 is used for DNS, 135 used for Microsoft RPC, 137 for NetBIOS, then 445 for SMB, 161 for SNMP. So like that. So we can just use informations, and it can be helpful when we'll be doing the practical in enumeration for these ports. That's why it's necessary to remember each and every port number and each and every services corresponded to that. I know it's not possible to learn or to remember all those port numbers, but you may like you need to try, so that must not face any issues. Now, NetBIOS enumeration, SNMP enumeration, LDAP enumeration, NTP enumeration, SMTP, and DNS enumeration. These 5 type of enumerations are there which we can do. So limitation is there in enumeration. Now, what are these things? I will explain you. NetBIOS. Well, you will be getting a better understanding when we do the practicals, but now in the theory also it's important. NetBIOS information. Network basic input output system. NetBIOS. Network basic input output system. It contains each and every detail about your network. Suppose if you are using a laptop or a desktop, NetBIOS is there. With the help of NetBIOS, it tracks, it configures, and it analyzes the network in your system. Now, if it contains this much of information, this much of things is under the control of NetBIOS, which means if we enumerate NetBIOS, we can get a lot of information. In NetBIOS, you can see identify the network devices. Now, whatever the devices are connected to your system or to the network, it is handled by the NetBIOS. Now, if you're able to enumerate the NetBIOS, which means you can gather a lot of information such as list of computers that belong to a domain, list of shares on the individual host in the network, and policies and passwords. Just imagine. So NetBIOS enumeration is also there. We'll be doing this practical. SNMP, as I told you, Simple Network Management Protocol. In this, we try to enumerate SNMP, and we will be getting a lot of information such as passwords, usernames, a lot of details. As I told you, SNMP is used for just managing the network. LDAP, Lightweight Data Access Protocol, or what is the full form? Just a second. LDAP stands for, it's Lightweight Directory Lightweight Directory Access. I was right. Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. Now, LDAP enumeration. In this, LDAP is also a protocol which is used for managing directories in a network. In a network, there are thousands of directories. Now, a human cannot manage each and everything, as I told you earlier. So, each and every protocol is there for each and every services. For managing distributed directory services over a network, LDAP is used. Now, here you may be hearing about a lot of networking terms, as networking is important for learning ethical hacking. That's why I'm focusing in these theoretical parts so that you must remember each and every details here. Now, lightweight directory access protocol is an internet protocol for accessing distributed directory services. In these directories, maybe there are a lot of details we may get: passwords, policies, rules, agent details, logical structures, usernames, addresses, departmental details, etc. A lot of details we can gather from these directories. So suppose if LDAP is handling these things, what if we enumerate LDAP? Well, we will be getting each and every details which comes under the LDAP. Okay, now let us go to the SMTP. SMTP stands, sorry, NTP is there. NTP stands for uh, Network Time Protocol. Network Time Protocol means if there is a huge network, and in the network, suppose a lot of systems are there. Now, to manage the timings of those systems, timings means the clock. Like earlier, when we were using small mobile phones, Symbian mobile phones, timing we need to update it manually. Correct? Whenever we switch off and remove the battery or remove the SIM card, and when we insert those things again and start the phone, it asks us to enter the time again and date again. Not right now. Nowadays, each and every smartphones contains a feature where it fetches network the timing from the network itself. That's why in the settings also there is an option fetch date and time from network. So NTP protocol is used there. NTP is used for managing the timings, and it provides the correct timing to each and every system. So suppose in a network, if there are 1,000 systems, NTP will be handling all those timings and configurations of the time zones. If from those 1,000 computers, 20 are from Asia or from India, so it will be uh, handling it in Indian Standard Time (IST). If it is from other country, it will be handling in that time zone. So like that. Now suppose if NTP is handling this much of things, now if we enumerate the NTP itself, what information we can get? Live hosts connected to NTP server, client's IP address we can get, internal IP address we can get. So all these information we can gather from NTP enumeration. Just imagine. Moving to SMTP. SMTP stands for Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. SMTP. The networks, the servers who are using email facilities, email features for the users, for receiving the emails or for sending the emails, it is based on SMTP protocol, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Now, if this much of things are handled by SMTP, receiving email, sending email, drafting email. So suppose if we enumerate the SMTP itself, what informations we can get? A lot of information we can get. The emails being sent, the emails being received, the headers of emails, the footers of emails, everything we can enumerate from the SMTP. Okay, proceeding further. Other enumeration techniques. So apart from these, there are 3 or 4 other techniques also of enumerations. First one is IP security. Second one is VoIP. VoIP, I think, is you must have heard about VoIP. Right now, the class I'm taking over Zoom, my voice is coming to you. It's based on VoIP. We are not on call, it's voice over internet protocol. I'm speaking over internet protocol. So if you enumerate a VoIP call, you may get a lot of details from the server itself. Okay, because VoIP call is being routed from a server. This call also, this video call, this live session is also being routed from Zoom's servers. Okay, right now we are connected to Asia server, which is located in Mumbai. So if you enumerate this connection, you may able to find a lot of details, but it's not possible because it's Zoom, and you need to give a lot of time in order to scan these things. So VoIP enumeration is also there. RPC enumeration is also there. RPC is also for remote procedure calls, for online calls and all. So RPC enumeration is also there. You can also enumerate a lot of calls, details, and all. Then we have, okay, this is now. Let us talk about the eighth point, enumeration countermeasures. Now, these things we studied, we learned, we know how to do that. Now, suppose if you are working for an organization and you wanted to learn how to protect, in that case, you need to learn the countermeasures. Now, how to protect yourself from SNMP enumeration? Now, in SNMP enumeration, agents are there, agent systems are there. Try to turn off those agents which you don't need. Now, if some agent is in not in use, you will not be able to find out if someone is exploiting that or not, enumerating that or not, because you may have not time for doing that. But if there is an agent which is in use, you will be looking into the agent configuration every time. So if something is wrong, you will be able to find out. DNS, disable the DNS zone transfers which you don't need. Untrusted hosts. Suppose if from my laptop I am trying to scan a DNS and try to do the enumeration, it will block me because I am untrusted, because it doesn't recognize my IP address. So this is the DNS. Same for SMTP, LDAP, SMB. Do not use something which looks odd, such as in SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Do not open emails which is from unknown recipients. Ignore those emails. Like that, we need to follow these steps for the countermeasure. Because maybe in future you are working for an organization as a post on cybersecurity expert or a network administrator, or who knows on which post you may be working after a few years. You need to know about these points, how to protect your servers or your organization network. Okay. And in the last, penetration testing. Whatever we have learned, we will be doing the practical in the next class. And what are the details we'll be getting? We'll be preparing a report. And if there is something wrong, we need to hand it over to the network administrator, that these are the details you need to fix. These are the things which you need to patch. So this is penetration testing of enumeration. So this is it in this module. So now anyone having any questions, you can ask in the live chat. What software big company use to monitor their employee activity in office? Uh, there are a lot of softwares. I don't know the names of the softwares. This question is not from this topic. I'm asking anyone having confusion from the things which I explained you right now. No, nothing at all from beyond the topics. Just ask the things which I explained you right now from this module. The terms which you're having in confusion, just ask those things. Anyone? SMTP can be used to find the phishing emails. No, it's phishing emails and SMTP enumeration. These two things, I'm not able to relate these two things. These two things are different. Phishing is something else. SMTP enumeration is something else. LDAP is a lightweight directory access protocol. So over the network, there are a lot of directories. So if you enumerate those LDAP protocols, you may be able to find out a lot of directories and a lot of information which may contains in the directory. Any questions, everyone? How these protocols work on internet? Well, these are hosted. For hosting a website, you need a server. Like that, you need a server for hosting these services. So I'm not talking about small websites here. I'm talking about big organizations who use servers, and for their different services, they use these protocols. Okay. Generally, this is an internal network protocols. Whatever we discussed right now, no, it's for internal network, which means no one can access this externally. You cannot access someone's LDAP server sitting here. For that, you need to do some sort of scanning. You need to find out the uh, servers locations and all. Based on that, you may be able to do enumeration on different protocols. Any questions, everyone? Now we discussed module number 2, module number 3, module number 4. Okay, so left out tools practical, which is Nmap for Kali Linux, HPing 2, HPing 3, WP scan, and one more software was there in enumeration. For that, we will be having practical. How many of you heard about WP scan? Anyone? WP scan. Mhm. WP scan is a Kali Linux based software which is used for enumerating WordPress websites. Okay. How many of you now heard about WordPress? Anyone heard about WordPress? Well, WordPress is an open source application which is built for creating websites or blogs, or you may even create e-commerce websites based on blogs. Sorry, based on WordPress. Yes, WordPress is open source. Now, in order to scan this WordPress, we need different tools. It's not possible to enumerate a WordPress website easily. For that, a separate software is developed known as WP Scan, which means the WordPress Scan. Now, with the help of WP Scan, we can enumerate usernames of the websites. We can enumerate plugins being used in the website. We can enumerate WordPress versions. A lot of details we can enumerate using WP Scan. So just unlike other websites, it's not possible to do that. Okay, for WordPress, some configurations are there, which makes harder to which makes harder to the different tools for scanning. So that WP Scan we will be using in the next practical session. We cannot hide IP address of any website. Okay, generally different website companies or platforms or websites use IPv6 IP address. IPv4 right now is used by majority of the websites, but IPv6 also they use. So it's a little harder than IPv6 to scan something. Okay. Any doubts, anyone, apart from this? Regarding the enumeration, if you have any doubts, you can ask, because tomorrow we'll be having practicals of these three softwares. No doubts. Okay. So tomorrow I need you all to prepare your Kali Linux operating system so that we'll be having a practical tomorrow. Kali version doesn't matter. Each and every version is there for practicals. There is nothing difference between the versions. Some features are there, and it's not even like important to know the new features, because we will not be using those new features. So it doesn't matter if you're using 2016 version or 2020 version. Okay. Kali tools is not there. We don't need to download any tools for Kali Linux. Every practical will be there. As I told you, these three modules comes together. So whatever the left for practical will be there. I will be planning all those things and we'll do that. WP Scan, there is no commercial version of WP Scan. There is no commercial version for any of the Kali software. As I told you, Kali Linux is an operating system which is built for doing ethical hacking and penetration testing. So in Windows, you may find out some version for commercial use, for some version for free use, but nothing in Kali Linux, nothing like that. Yes, Parrot OS you can use. Parrot OS is also used for hacking purposes and penetration testing. Parrot OS is also very popular, but in the syllabus it is not covered. So if you face any issues, you will not be able to provide support on Parrot OS. If I install VMware and Kali Linux, how much memory takes place? Approx, you may say like memory, it will be maximum to 2 to 3 GB you need to free. I told that I will discuss about dark web, not right now. I told you it's not in syllabus, but I will discuss in some class. Just wait for that. Do not panic. How to monitor brute force attacks? Brute force attack, when we will be doing that, I will let you know. Yes, today's session I will upload after the end of the class. So as I told you, enumeration is not a big topic. Only 63 pages are here. So it's finished, everyone. So you can leave the class. That is it in the enumeration. So tomorrow the practical is there. Day after that, the vulnerability analysis. Whatever we have learned in enumeration and all these things, we will implement it in the vulnerability analysis, system hacking, malware threats, and rest of the topics. Discussion forum. Okay, I think I had not shared it. It's onebytelabs.in/community. I will paste it in the Telegram channel. So thank you, everyone. Have a good night ahead. And I hope you like this session. And I thank you for your patience. Now you can leave the class.